Who want one last trip to the long trail?
So a lot of people know me as a cyber person. I've been playing Tekken probably about like 15, 16 years now. And how I got into coaching, like it started off me just doing it for free, like everybody. And I do that for years. Like people reach out and be like, hey, you beat me good. Can you help me out? And I'm like, sure, I got you. And then when Tekken 8 came out, I was still on that type of timing. But then, I don't know if you familiar with Facebook groups and how active they are in there.
Yeah.
I saw people, posting Metafy links and this, that, and the third, and I looked at it, I'm like, oh, okay, that looked cool. But I didn't really give too much thought to it. It wasn't until someone had reached out and was like, hey, thanks for the help. How much do I owe you? I'm like, owe me? Nothing. What you mean? I needed to start making financial sense for me to like sit in front of this game as much as I do,
Yeah.
right? So then I started doing some market analysis. I've been reaching out to some friends and I saw people offering like unlimited packages. And I was like, y'all only going up to Fujin. The game don't stop till God of Destruction.
That's when it gets started.
Right? And,
Yeah.
real Tekken doesn't start till Fujin. And I went on there and I was like, okay, let me go ahead and see if I can make something shake. And I did. I posted that. That was one of my first packages, the God of Destruction one for $1,000. And really it's meant as a sticker shock when you first see it, right? You see that $1,000 price. I want people to be like, what the fuck is this, right?
Yeah.
So when people actually click on it and reach out about it, I let them know what's going on. It's literally unlimited sessions. They may either do with Fujin, Tekken King, or the God Destruction one. Week one, they're booking every day, 2 to 3 hours every day. And I'm like, y'all, yeah, you took that seriously. You should. Let's get it. Let's get to work. I only want to work with people who are serious. Putting it at that price point lets me know who's serious or not. And although in the long term, I'm not getting that much off of one person, because hell, I might be training them for a year, 2 years until they get to that point, right?
Yeah.
But they let me know up front they're serious, and that's all I care about. I got a free session on there. The first session, I have like a meet and greet. Like I'll look at your gameplay, we fight, and I give you some tips for free, right? And then from there, we can talk about if you want to move forward or if this even is, what you really need at this point. Because some people they don't really need coaching; they need to go on YouTube. So like I don't take money from everybody. Like I've had 15-year-olds reach out to me like, "Hey, can I get coaching?" And I'm like, "Have you tried YouTube?" I'm like, "No, I didn't try YouTube yet." I'm like, "No, no, no. Here's this link. Go ahead. You can look at Moonsault Slayer. You can go ahead and look at Mike Holloway. You can go ahead and look at all these other people who have great opinions, people who talk about the game, who have guides. You ain't got to pay nothing for that. And then if they still need help after that, then I got to talk to a parent. Now, if you're an adult and you tell me, okay, yeah, I did my due diligence. Hey, let's run it.
Heard that it was coaching. I was like, okay, so what is it like for someone who's like, this is my first Tekken game ever and I want some help?
I have had some beginners, and that most of the time I'll have them play like the arcade quest first. You're not paying me for that stuff. You're paying me to get you good. You can learn like the basics from the game. And then once they get to that point, that's when we start getting into, more practical things like offense, like 50-50s, frame traps, things of that nature. Then I have people who are like, I'm already relatively good at the game. I got, Fujin, I got Kishin. I want to get to, say, Tekken God. I'm like, okay. Usually those people, they have not that many issues with their actual gameplay. It's more so about their matchup knowledge. And then when people come to me, they're like, Tekken God, and they're like, yo, I want to get God Destruction. Yeah, it's usually all matchup stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think as well. Like, the way that I would try to break it up is like when you're dealing with like, orange ranks, red ranks, kind of that area and below. Everyone's just kind of like learning their character and you're trying to learn the mechanics. But then once you get to like purple and blue, that's when you start to deal with like, okay, what can my character do against other characters and how will they respond? And then once you get over that hurdle and you start to get into like the Tekken gods, that's when it's like who mastered that stuff and who didn't.
Absolutely. Everything until Fusion is about learning your character. Fujin, the Tekken King, is about learning everyone else. Tekken King, the God, is about how can you get that to the highest level.
Arcade Quest is
Mhm.
something that we talk about as like being a waste and like why did they put this in the game? They could have spent money on Tekken Force, but a lot of people out there really love it.
Those first few arcades you go through really set you up to learn the game in a fun way where it's not super, super repetitive and there's like some type of story arc there. Other than that, I wouldn't max rank it. Because I know some people they'll play it till they're GOD. Like I wouldn't do all that. All you need is that those first few, and then you basically can just hop off and go play the
What
game.
do you feel is like the biggest mistake that people are making when you're trying to coach someone?
They try to play big Tekken too much. As soon as the game starts, we're throwing out 26 frame moves. We're throwing out seeable hell sweeps. We're doing all the stuff that will get you killed. One of the first few things I teach them is okay, what's the difference between small and big Tekken? Once we get that under control, I show them how to properly utilize small tech. I tend to tell them sidestep. Anytime you're -4, -3, -1, all the way to 0, just sidestep. And they instantly see an increase in whiffs. They can play their big Tekken. But just that solves a lot of their issues. No, absolutely. Like when I first pick up somebody to train, depending on their level, I want them to focus on the fun aspect, right?
Yeah.
So if their combos suck, I just have them focus on combos first, which is backwards for a lot of coaches. They're like, you need to work on the fundamentals first, right? But my thing is, if we treat this like it's a boot camp and it's no longer a game, we're less likely to keep people on the game. Once they start having fun, then I can get on them and be like, oh, yo, you're not doing this, and this. I like to give them a choice sometimes. So I'll be like, okay, do you want to win right now or do you want me to like teach you right now? And if they say win right now, all right, I'm going to give you this scrub tactic. Shoot, Victor, hell sweep. Just hell sweep. So then once they start ranking up and encountering people who know how to stop that, then they come back and they're like, okay, this doesn't work anymore. Why?
Yeah.
Now we can have a conversation.
I don't want to skip ahead, but a question that I can't stop thinking about is how do you feel about coaches going up on stage and coaching? Like what's your take on that as a coach who coach players?
I have a opinion that a lot of people probably don't agree with. If someone can come up there and give them 1 minute of info and that changes the course of the fight, then you might not have won that fight regardless. I always put the onus back on myself. You got to really look at yourself and like, wow, did I really sell the bag that much that this 1 minute changed the entire outcome? Because you have some people who can absorb knowledge like a sponge, right? And you have some people who it takes them a little bit of time. If you tell the person that takes a little bit of time to learn something, hey, you need to be doing down 4-2, down back 4, XYZ against that, they're going to overthink that and end up not playing their game. Versus if you tell someone who can absorb knowledge quickly, hey, this, and this, they can absorb that, use it immediately. So
Yeah.
you can't treat everybody the same.
As a coach, how has the balancing changed from like your perspective?
For the most part, I give people the same type of advice no matter how the game changes. Because when it comes down to it, most of offensive based Tekken falls into like three categories for me. It's either small Tekken versus big Tekken, 50/50s, or frame traps. Even when season 2 came out and they was just giving everybody plus 10 stuff, everything still played the same for me because all I focused on was those three things anyway. Tekken 7, that was a very pokey like game, so you couldn't really get away with a lot of the risks that you can take now. I love pressing buttons. So when when season 2 dropped, I was on my stream like, "Oh man, you guys are so fucked. Wait till I get my hands on these frames cuz I know as long as you have a frame trap, as long as you have a solid 50/50, and then if that doesn't work, you can always rely on your small Tekken. Because a lot of people they say, it's a very 50/50 game, and it is. But what I've noticed in a majority of players, you ended up in that 50/50 situation because you did something wrong leading up to that could have been prevented. Tekken has always been about the fundamentals, moving, poking. And like when you give Tekken all these big moves, yeah, it's fun to look at, but to get good, it's kind of like the opposite. You can't rely on them. at least at first, right?
Yeah.
But once you actually know how to play, then those tools become, integral to your gameplay. Like I'll see people who will go a whole 3 rounds never touching their heat, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's
Like
crazy.
that's like that's free plus frames right there for the taking. And it's like, I get it, because you're still trying to figure out how to properly frame trap. You're thinking about that. You're not thinking about popping heat at this time. So it can be a lot, especially when they're learning. We need more talks like this, especially around coaching, just because it's gotten such a bad rep. Um, People don't but really believe in spending money to get good, and it's like it's not really just to get good, it's to get good faster, and to have people who actually are there to help you when you need it, not when they're off work.
Yeah. Yeah, it is like a weird stigma around coaching where like people will be like, you're paying to get coached in video games, but then that same person will spend a fortune on skins. And it's like,
For sure. Actually, I do have one thing. I do see people starting to ask about pricing and stuff. I don't know if you want me to plug anything, or you just
yeah,
want to.
yeah, yeah. So that's what I was going to tell you is like, so, tell people where they can follow you, tell people where they can sign up. And, after this, I do want you to send me links to everything. So when I do make the videos, I could put the links in, and also I can even put it into the chat. So yeah, tell the people everything.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. So you can usually find me on Discord at a Saba person. On X, same thing. As far as coaching, you'll find me at Metafy. As far as pricing, everything is usually around 30 to 40 an hour, unless you want a larger package. I will go ahead and make a discount. The closer you are to the rank you want, the cheaper I actually make the coaching prices.